As human beings, we worry from time to time. It's part of being human. But the challenge is if we allow the worry to stay with us for a long time, because once that happens, there will never be positive results that will come out of that process. And that's what I would like to talk to you about in this video today. What is this worry? Worry is a feeling of being anxious over something that has happened or that has got the potential to happen. But if you allow it to last longer, if you allow it to stick longer, it will have devastating effects on you. And let me tell you, there are plenty of things in this world that will cause us worry. You don't even have to go out to look for those things. And because there are so many things that will cause you worry over a long time, then it should help your mind to adjust and be ready to deal with these things. It challenges us to look for mechanisms that we can use to cope with the things that will definitely land on our laps, because there are so many things that happens on a daily basis. In my country, we always say kuningi, guys, kuningi, meaning there are a lot of things that are happening on a day-to-day basis. Before you know it, the electricity regulator has given the rights to the power producer to increase the electricity tariffs. As if you're trying to absorb that, then there's a hike in electricity prices. As if you're trying to work on that, there's something that happens within our government that will send worry down your spine. And I'm not by any means trying to say everything is dark and gloomy. But what I'm saying is that there are a lot of things we are not sure of, things that causes us to worry. Because even in our homes, there are things that are happening within our homes that causes us to worry from time to time. Parents are worried about whether their children will get employment after struggling to take them through university. And even on our own personal level, we do things that we never thought that we will do ourselves. And then we start to worry, start to think, to say, how did I violate my own value system? That sends us into worries. So there are a plethora of things that will cause us to worry from time to time. But the thing is, do you have the coping mechanism? Because if you do not have the coping mechanism, let me tell you, worry affects us physically. It can even affect your heart rate. You know, the longer it sticks, it can raise your blood sugar levels. It can raise your high blood. It can even causes you stroke. I've got a friend who every time that he got worried about something, his migraines will come with a bang. And that was not a nice sight to just have a look at him. And there are a few things that I would like to suggest that I think if you pay attention, you'll be able to cope and deal with the worries that life will throw to you every day. Let's start with the first one, and it is about accepting if something has happened. Accept and say, it is what it is. What more can I do? And before you get me wrong, that's not a call for you to throw the towel. But if something has happened, what are you going to do about it? And let's get to the nub of it. Let's say you went out with your friends over the weekend and you splashed the money, which is something that we are not supposed to do in the first place. But that has happened. What are you going to do about it? The money has been spent. Whether you worry about it, whether you beat yourself, the money has been spent. You are not going to change that situation. You just have to accept and say, it has happened. There is nothing that I'm going to do about it. You can pull another example and say, maybe you did something horrible that you are even afraid to share with your loved one. that it's only you who knows what you did yesterday, what you just did now. But you are afraid to tell somebody because it violates your value system and it violates the value systems of those that you love. You can spend hours and hours beating yourself, but it is not going to change. So the first thing that you need to do to be able to deal with worry is to say, it is what it is. Accept it so that you can be able to move on. Because if you don't do that, you are going to affect your sleep. It will always be at the back of your mind. It will always control how your day is going to unravel. It is always going to control your mood swings. And that's not what you want about your life. Probably you know that feeling when you cannot sleep because something is bothering you. So the first step is for you to accept. Because if you accept, then you take control. But if you don't accept, firstly, it does not erase that whatever you worried about has happened. And secondly, it is going to control you. Which takes us to point number 2. What is the learning out of that which has happened? No matter how bleak the situation can be, there is always learning. But that learning you can only derive if you take time to scrape out of what has happened and ask yourself, what did I learn out of this? You can also ask yourself, what was the gift that I was being pushed to accept out of this situation? Because there's always a silver lining out of every bad situation that we go through. And you will not find that silver lining. We will not find what is positive out of a bad situation if you don't stand back and ask yourself, what gift was this situation advancing to me? And you've got to ask yourself that question. You've got to ask yourself that question. Let's talk about what I referred to earlier about violating your value system. And whatever that might have happened could be something that wakens you up to say, hey, I was going on a wrong path. And no matter how bad this thing that happened is, but it was a wake-up call. It was something that taps me on the shoulder to say, go back on the straight and narrow. It could be something that brings you closer to your God. It could be something that taps you on your shoulder to say, I've got to review the type of activities that I engage in. It could be something that says, these are not a circle of friends that I should be going along with. It could be something that says, you have neglected your passion, you have neglected your purpose, you have to go back to the straight and narrow. There's always a gift that comes out of a bad situation, but the challenge is, do you allow yourself to learn out of that situation? It takes you taking that time to say, what is the gift that this bad situation, that this horrible experience is giving to me? The third point is about letting go. Release this thing that is bothering you. Yes, the first point I said, accept and appreciate that it is what it is. But here it's about actively releasing it. And sometimes you even have to do something that is symbolic of you releasing this thing or the worry that has been affecting you. And because we are used to hardships, we think that solutions come with complex things. You know, you can take a paper and write down what the worry was, whatever this thing that was affecting you, and pour your emotions on this paper. That's part of releasing this thing and letting it go. Put your emotions on this paper. Write everything that it cost you. Write everything that you were thinking about, something that was stealing your energy, something that was stealing your joy, the impact that it had, the result that it had on you. And as you writing on this piece of paper, also write about what is it that you want, the situation that is positive, that is opposite to the worry. that you were feeling. And once you have written this emotion, you've got two choices. You can either fold that paper and trash it into small pieces, or you can take a matchstick and burn it and release it into the ether. It might sound stupid, but let me tell you, it works. I have done it before. I have released all these bad emotions from my mind, put them on paper, bend this paper and say, you no longer have a hold on me, and you release all these worries that are upon you. We don't get solutions always in complex things. We get solutions in things that are simple, that we believe are not going to work. But let me tell you, those are the things that work to change your situation to the better. Try it and you'll tell me the results. Let's look at the last one. So, worry is not a simple thing. And all these steps that I have suggested, from the first one to the second and the third one, if they do not work for you, it means that the problem is bigger than you and I can imagine. That's where you start to realize, or you should start to realize, that doing it yourself does not work. You then have got to go to somebody that is trained in this area to assist you. See a psychologist, see a therapist, see a counselor, and get professional help to be able to deal with the chronic worry, the anxiety that is attacking you from time to time. Because worry is nothing else except something that causes you dysregulation. And if the three aspects that I suggested are not helping you to regulate yourself, to get to that point again, then you've got to get help. Don't be worried about what people will say. Don't be worried and send messages to your brain that psychologists do not help you. Just sit there on the couch and then you just talk, somebody's listening to you. I know people say those, and the people say this, they even haven't been to a psychologist. Go out and get help so that you can restore your well-being, so that you can regulate your well-being and become a better version of yourself. And above all, trust in your Creator. Give everything to your Creator. Pray, meditate. Get yourself that space, a safe space, where you are with yourself and talk to your Creator. And in that way, you will defeat the worry, because allowing it to stick will never produce any good results. At the end of the day, you'll be the victim of your worry. If this content resonates with you, if you get in value out of this content, please subscribe. Please leave a comment below. Please drop an email to get coaching from us. And join in the next video where we continue to share these tips. But also don't forget to share with your loved ones, because we would like to build a bigger community and influence one person at a time. I thank you.